and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown letter.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, man. Free Malakazi York. Ride by to all the family in the chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit that bell, and don't forget to come back and check with us every day for new information. We got non-stop action, man. We ain't gonna run out of information no time soon. We just going over stuff, a lot of stuff we already went over. A lot of people are scared of stuff like this. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to imagine it. That you are being treated like a cattle, or you are being treated like a chicken. You eat chicken eggs. You scramble them up. You fry them up. You eat bacon and eggs and shrimps. You eat it. You don't complain when you eating the shrimps. But the shrimp is complaining about you eating them. You just don't understand their language. When they throw a damn crab, a live crab or a live lobster in some hot boiling water and they scream, ah! That's just how you scream when the reptilians throw you in hot boiling water. Yeah, man. We about to get into it. We got clips. We giving people time to get in. We waited an extra hour before we came on because this right here is going to be spooky. We got witnesses of people being eaten out, getting eat out. They don't like people. They don't like chicks that taste like cigarettes. So we about to get into it, man. We just giving people time to get on, but come to the people think, you got people out here that still think the world is flat. You got people still talking about what is behind the ice wall. We already got past that over 20 years ago, maybe even 30. Thanks to Dr. Malachi York. You can get the holy tablets, by the way, and all of this information is already out. And they said that Dr. Malachi York was crazy when he put it up. He already talked about what's behind the ice wall. He already talked about the Draconians eating people. It's actually in the Bible, you know. It actually especially Leviticus, it's like a cookbook. They're saying, get him in there, chop him up, get some onions and bell peppers in there on him, put him in a crock pot. The reptilians, man, they put you in the crock pot. Man, we about to get in. Yeah, we about to get into it, man. So if you spooky, I mean, who else is talking about this type of stuff besides it's only a few people, man. They can get into this type of information. We heard Billy talking about his experience with the reptilians. Well, I think almost got killed at least 2 or 3 times by the reptilians. Or at least they made an attempt. These they can shade shift, man. The first attempt, I learned that they can shade shift and they can look like your friends or your family members, and they really the reptilians. Yeah. So it's like I found out they can shade shift. I also found out they can like jump interdimensional. They can jump. Some of these reptilians can jump interdimensional. Like they can jump and just appear in certain. Because like I was driving down the street, it was pouring down raining. This the second time they tried to get me. I had got a rental car. I was working at this place, this tire place where we changed diesel truck tires. And I got off work one day, and when I got off work, it was pouring down raining so hard you can't even see in front of you. Man, I'm driving down what that was 20. I'm on 20. Going down 20. And one of the motherfuckers jumped in the car and grabbed the steering wheel and flipped that bitch. And so the car, when he grabbed it, I react like that right there, like right. And so, but the steering wheel, the car spent around. Like so I was going west on 20, but when the car spent around, now I'm going east. But I'm going head on with the traffic. Right? I'm going head on with the traffic, and it's like cars coming, and then all of a sudden a gust of wind hit the car, spent it back around on to the other side the way I was going. And I just kept driving, right? Like ain't nothing happened. The shit happened so fast, right? So look, when I got like I'm thinking that damn man, my mama gonna be tripping because she got me this rental car, and now I just told her the motherfucker. I don't know what I don't know what because I ain't get out to check the wreck because I was so scared about that reptilian. Right. So I was like, what the fuck? So when the reptilian disappeared, when the gust of wind hit the car, the reptilian, like he just jumped out like he was scared or something that whatever hit that car and pushed it back to the other side, right? And I went home, and when I got home, I looked at the car. Man, it wasn't a scratch on the car. It wasn't a scratch on the goddamn car. And I said, damn, man, like I really was more worried about the car than the reptilian because my mama more dangerous than the reptilians. I tell you, my mama more dangerous than the reptilians, man. I almost scared of my mama that she gonna be on my ass about this. I done rented this car in my name, and now you had tore it up. And you know what I'm saying? I was more scared of that than the reptilian. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, but it wasn't a scratch on that car. Another, I'm about to get into some clips, man, about these beans. Give you more breakdown on them. We just give people time to get in, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Yeah, man. So the first, that was like the second time they tried to get me. The first time they tried to get me, we was living in these apartment complex, and they had killed 2 or 3 dudes over there. But I didn't put it together till they came after me. They had killed this one dude. And they the way they killed him, they tried to kill me the same way. He could have been a replacement. I don't know, man. I thought about a whole bunch of different angles on that shit. But what happens is I get up at like 2:00 in the morning to go to the ice box to get something to drink at the ice box. And like the way our apartment was made, the kitchen is one way in, one way out. It's got a window. Right, like you can turn and go through the window and come out on the balcony, or you can run, or you can come out through the one way past the ice box and then go out the front door. So when I opened the ice box and got the drink out and then closed it back and turned it up like that, I looked to my left, and it's a fucking big ass reptilian. Now, my reaction was to jump out the window, but the window's closed, so I was scared. So my reaction was I just ducked under it real fast, took off running. But I didn't run to my mama and them room. I ran outside and ran all the way to my auntie house. right? I'm gonna bring one day. I'm gonna bring my auntie on and let her tell you what I told her was chasing me. I said the reptilians is chasing me. The reptilians is chasing me. I ran like 2 miles almost as a little kid, and I kept on looking back, running, and they was chasing me. Right? That was one incident. They was chasing me all the way to my. That's the first time they tried to get at me. Chased me all the way to my auntie house. I ran to my auntie house. My uncle came out there with his gun. What's out there chasing you? What the hell's going on? Right? He out there looking. And then my mama and my daddy, my stepdad came around there to get me. He had a bat. My stepdaddy came around there with a bat. I said, man, I told him, and I was about like in the 3rd grade. I said, man, that bat, you should have bought a gun. That whatever that shit that was chasing me, that it gonna eat that bat. That whatever that's the way that shit look. A bat, it's gonna take that bat and then tear you apart, man. What the hell you break a bat? I told that nigga, man, you should have brought up something bigger than it, a knife or something. Like a knife would have been better than the bat. This thing was big and muscular looking, man, like a muscle-bound, green, scaly looking thing. And down there, we see him a lot. People always see him. They call him the Swamp Man. The Swamp Man was my auntie said, "Oh, the Swamp Man must have chased them." Right, the Swamp Man. That's what they said. The Swamp Man. It was a reptilian, nigga. But I ain't know what I know now about reptilians, right? I just knew that it was a reptilian man chasing me. I ran like all the way past. I ran a long ass way. My mama could verify that, and my auntie, and my stepdad. So yeah, that happened, and then that's one time they chased me. Then another time, it's a swimming pool over in my apartments. And I had a homeboy I lived downstairs. He lived upstairs. No, he lived downstairs. I lived upstairs. Cause I had to come off on the balcony to get down to. He lived downstairs, like the house right up under me. So one weekend we used to go swimming all the time together in that pool because my daddy had taught me how to swim a long time ago. But we used to go swimming along in that pool all the time. But this one particular Saturday, my homeboy came and got me to go swimming with him, but he just was acting weird though. But I was like, I ain't think nothing of it. But to make a long story short, when we got in the pool, he kept jumping on trying to get me to come to the deep end. Then when I went to the deep end, he would jump on my back and like how somebody jump on your back, like you got somebody you carrying them, like carrying the baby on your back. He would jump on my back like that and try to drown me. I'm like, man. And then I would like get him off, a couple times. Then he just kept doing it. And then that final time, he almost drowned me. And then a gust of wind knocked his ass off. I got out the pool and I went home. I was mad, went changed my clothes. And then I went looking for him. I wanted to fight. So when I went looking for him and couldn't find him, I went to his house and asked his mama, well, such and such it, you know what I'm saying? And then they talked to him, told him to come on outside. She said, oh, yeah, well, his dad came and got him after school on Friday. His dad picked him up and took him. And his dad lived in a one city over. So he wasn't even there. So who the hell was this dude trying to drown me? You know what I'm saying? If he gone over his daddy house on the weekends, because he go over his dad's house on the weekend. And I'm saying that's when I think that it was a reptilian shade shifting that looked like him. But let me get into some of these clips, y'all. It's about to get spooky. It's about to get creepy. We ain't trying to creep you out, though. We're just trying to give you what's going on with these guys, man. Hold on, let's see. Let's see what this dude right here gonna say.
Okay, reptilians. There are essentially three different types of reptilians. There's the subterranean type, and they literally live in the large cavern systems underground. Sometimes they have quite modern facilities and installations underground. There are the extraterrestrial variety, which literally come here from other worlds in our cosmos, in this plane of existence. They travel here in stargates, or they travel here in spaceships, or both. And then there's the interdimensional variety, where these beings tend to stay like in the lower fourth dimension, although because they're masters of frequency and resonance, and can alter their density. They can even go into higher dimensions. And they are not all mutually exclusive. Some beings are extraterrestrial and interdimensional. And that capability is reflected in some of these reptilians, that they have the ability to be interdimensional, but they can also densify themselves and become corporeal in our physical 3D. Subterranean, extraterrestrial, interdimensional. They manage to exert control on this planet through the creation of these hybridized genetic bloodlines of theirs, these
I don't know if they're gonna try to say something about that. That music in the background. I just want you to hear the types, the ones that's interdimensional, the ones that's using the coming from, because there's some that live on Mars and some that they was living on Venus, but they got expedited off Venus. And then some that's interdimensional. Because so let me give you a little backstory on why that's happening. The backstory on that is the first war took place in what would be termed, what you probably term it, the seventh dimension. Some people don't say, "Oh, well, it ain't no such thing," right? Because it's other words for it, but they termed it as the dimension, the seventh dimension. And I can get into the other words for it, but the war took place there between these light etherical beings, the green light beings and the amber light beings on the seventh dimension. Now, the green light beings essentially take the amber light beings down to the sixth dimension, and they got trapped on that dimension. They show you in the series Stargate, and they call these beings the auras. The auras, they burn as a amber light beings, right? These high-ranking essentially ascended Draconians. Now, they want off that level. They want off the sixth dimension. And so in order to get out the sixth dimension, they need energy. They need energy in the form of worship. So they need this energy in form to ascend and get off Route 66, because nobody really lives on the sixth dimension. The sixth dimension is hyperspace, where it's like a highway or interstate where these ships could travel in hyper dimension, space, faster than the speed of light without bumping into different planets, asteroids, etc. That's why if you ever see some of these ships, they'll open up a wormhole or a vortex, and then they'll go up in it, like the feline crabs, right? The ones they got the pyramid looking ships, the black pyramid looking ships, right? Or the silver ones. So they need that worship to essentially get off back to the seventh dimension. So they have lower dimensional beings that work on behalf of these six dimensional auras to create this energy and to harvest this energy to where they can get enough to essentially I don't know what the word they use, to default ascend, because the Anunnakis tried to ascend, and it's a book I got called The Return of Our Nana. I should talk about that in there. That they tried to use a machine to ascend, and the machine only got them so far. But then they found out another way to ascend, and that's through the chakra system that they teach in the Hindu culture. And it's what Yeshua and the Christ consciousness and all this is all about. It's all about the ascending manually, without having technology and all that, right? And so that's really what this school was set up for, to learn how to ascend manually, and to also experience and learn all of the different emotions, to mold the soul, mold you into a living soul. Because it says God breathed his spirit into man, and man became a living soul. So this school is to mold you back into that form, that green light form, so you could go back home again, according to what Doc said in the first page of the Holy Tablets, right? So going back to what I was saying about these beings being trapped on the sixth dimension, they want out, and like I say, the lower level, which eventually they got kicked from the fifth out of the Orion star system, which is another name for heaven in the New Testament. Oranos in the Greeks is for Orion, one of the parts of heaven mentioned of in Job chapter 9, verse 9, where it says that where were you when I laid out the heavens with an S? Orion, Arcturus, Pleiades. And so those are galaxies. If you pull them up on Google, you could get the distance. I think Pleiades is like 444 light years away. Orion is like 1300 and some change, 44 light years away. Then Arcturus is like 36 light years away. So these are different galaxies, and a light year is 6 trillion miles, by the way. So, but these it's different levels, frequencies, or band waves that these beings live on with due to having certain types of technology. That's what it is. They just like you, except that they got technology that can make them vibrate onto a higher dimension. And I can break that down for you a little bit better for the people that's ain't up to speed. Let's say you had a walkie-talkie, and say four guys had a walkie-talkie, but two of the guys, they walkie-talkie can go up to channel. They got 5 channels, but the other two guys only got 3 channels, right? So they all could talk to each other on 3. You on 3, right? You only can go up to 3. Essentially, is what they're telling you. You actually can go up to 5. That's what they don't want to tell you, but essentially, you can go up to 3 channels, 3 dimensions that they say, right? And then it's but these other guys, they can turn to 4 and you can't listen to what they're saying, or they can turn to 5. You can actually listen to what they're saying on 4 if you could tap into the mental reservoir. But that's a whole nother diagram. But so let's say they got them 2 extra channels, so that's what it is. Some extraterrestrials have developed an extra channel onto their walkie-talkie. So now they live on 3, on 4, and 5. And but they can come down and turn their channel down to 3 and then come talk to you. But some rules have been made galactically to block essentially only certain beings can do it without having a galactic pass, because it's certain galactic laws. As it is above, so is it below, or so is it below as it is above, right? So you have the lower groups of reptilians, the ones who exist in the 4th dimension and 3rd dimensions. The ones that exist in the 3rd and 4th dimensions is the ones that drink the blood and eat physical flesh, as the ones in the 3rd dimension consume physical flesh. And a lot of them is not intelligent as they want you to make you think. Some of them, because their brain is a pea brain. Some of these reptilians got pea brain. Some of the lower level ones. So they try to make you like they super intelligent. The higher the upper salons are intelligent and dangerous, but the lower bunch are not. They pea brains. They followers. They really scared of us because we are them times, with other extraterrestrials added on. So essentially, the lower group is collecting the energy. Watch the movie they put out about the kids called Monsters Inc., where these monsters come and collect screens, harness that energy, and take it back to the other side. That's part of the mechanism for the auras. They collect it, and also they collecting all the Christian energy is being harvested by them. You think you worshiping Jesus, and you really worshiping reptilians. That's why they say, eat Jesus's blood. I mean, drink his blood and eat his body. And you think that ain't reptilian? Christians are eating Jesus's blood. I mean, drinking Jesus' blood and eating his body, and that's cannibalism right there. And then we could go all the way through the New Old Testament where, the lady they was eating each other's sons and eat this guy, eat that guy. The gods in Genesis 18 came down and ate meat with Abraham. So these people were meat eaters. They don't want you to come to that reality. There's different pickups. There's the raptures, which is the raptors, reptilians harvesting they meat. But the reptilians harvest happened after the pickup for the Anunnakis is a different pickup than the reptilian pickup. The reptilian pickup is the leftovers. People that's left over that haven't ascended, they ain't gonna be able to come and pick nobody up in the fifth dimensional. That's part of the fifth dimensional frequency shift. You out of their frequency. They can't pick you up because they only can pick up people that's locked, trapped, and that's gonna be still in the third dimension. They gonna be the food, the meek. They're gonna inherit the old earth. The people that's going to the new earth, that's gonna see the new heaven, which is right here, but it's just the new heaven and new earth is when the fake shit is rolled back and the real shit is you be able to see the real shit because we in a they hologramming our reality, but once the hologram is cut off, you will see the new heaven and the new earth. Those people that in that realm is not going to experience the reptilians picking the people up and eating them. That's going to be people that's left in there under their dimension. We're going to get into that. Alex Collier about to break that down about how they afraid for us to go. They was afraid for us to go to this higher Schumann resonance because they can't vibrate. We like stanky. We like they can't mess with us on that level, right? So let's get more into this, man.
The people who run our society consider themselves gods, and that's why they're not explaining.
They think they're more than human.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, I go. They're not even human because humans care about their environment and their neighbors, and humans care about other people's children,
of course,
and humans care about living things.
Yes,
but they don't do any of that. And he goes, because they think they're more than human.
Oh, I noticed.
They
That's why
think
they
they're
want to live
royals.
Forever.
They think they're like royals in a rarefied sphere of DNA or something above us. Like, did they come from another planet? When you hear people talk, I can't either. But
this is the podcast to speculate on it, though.
Well, because some people say, a lot of religious people, they're into some deep rabbit holes of things, and I don't know.
Well, you can see why they are, though. I mean, speaking for myself, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if this is the Nephilim.
Yeah, they got some music going, but yeah. So for the religious people, the reptilians are mentioned of in the Bible under the dragon in Revelation chapter 12, verse 7, and Satan. You know what I'm saying? They the reptilians, these Dragon reptilians from Drago's star system is a part of the Orion galaxy. What else? So the different I can get into the different extraterrestrial types of angels, of different extraterrestrials mentioned of in the Bible, like in Revelation chapter 4, where it mentions of the 4 different types that made the alliance. You gotta get a tape I put out in a different extraterrestrial playlist called the 4-Race Alliance. And the 4-Race Alliance, and this is gonna tie into what we're talking about the food for the gods. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, hit that bell. The 4-Race Alliance is one had a face like a bird. That is the Blue Avians. We got a tape on them in a different extraterrestrial playlist. The Arcturians, and they mention this in, like I said, this is one part of heaven, or the south chambers of heaven, mentioned of in Job chapter 9, verse 9. It says that one had a face like an ox. These are the Arcturians, the Centaurians. They talk about these beings in the myth where they had half man, half horse. Pan is like a part of this species, the Greek god Pan, all these different gods that they show you that's mixed with half mammals, cattle type animals and humans, and some of them are full like cattle, bipedal type intelligent beings that walk upright, and actually some of them are protecting the earth. Like the Arcturian, these 4 races, really. These 4 races are protecting Earth as a part of the Protected Planet Treaty. And so the other race mentioned of is the feline. It says one had a face like a lion. And those people are the feline people from Lara. Anybody get into them, how they're part of the war against the reptilians, because Michael and his angels, these different 4 races I'm naming, was a part of Michael's angels. They were fighting against the dragon, the reptilians, right? So they got attacked. But to get to that, the Lyrans, the feline race, got attacked by the same Draconians. All these species, in fact, got attacked by the Draconians. So the one that had the feline face, then it says one had a face like a man. That is all the human looking people, like the certain groups of Anunnakis, like Anunim and Enlilnim and the Coneheads, etc. The Proconians, the Centaurians. These are the ones that got the face like a man. Now, if you notice, we only need to re-listen to the government, man. Just go read the holy tablets, because the government full of shit. They only showing us white extraterrestrials, reptilians, and grays. We are, come on, man. Come on, like they only want to show us white extraterrestrials. They like to play these games.
Children and the disappearance of children. If you're willing to talk about it. I've said so.
I hope y'all can hear this. I got another clip too, though, but he gonna talk about why the reptilians are eating the children. This is Alex Collier, right? He's a contactee, and we've been talking about this guy for a long time. We got a lot of his tapes already in the different extraterrestrial playlists, but he's supposed to be a contactee for the blue-faced Andromedans, which is really riskians. The blue-faced Andromedans are really riskians. They left and went to the Andromedans or the Pleiades galaxy when their planet got attacked by these Draconians. But it might be low, but I got another one I think I'm gonna be able to play. I'm just gonna play a little bit of it to see how it sounds, but just try to listen to this right here.
Children and the disappearance of children. If you're willing to talk about it.
I've said so much about that already. I know that I have been blasted about that, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely know what I know about the missing children. And I'm not going to apologize for it, and I stand by what I said all those years ago, and I stand by it today.
Okay, could you summarize, because we're aware of this as well, so if you could just, in maybe one sentence.
We have become a natural resource. Very much how we've used cows. We use cows and other animals. We ourselves have become.
I tell you, because it's low, and I might run across the second part that I got just louder, because you probably can't hear that one. But he's gonna go into telling you what I've been telling you the whole time, about the reptilian, about you are a food source. You are a galactic food source to these reptilians. I just put out the whole story of how the deal went down with the reptilians and Alelu, and I've been talking about it for the longest. About how Alelu made the deal to sell the Sandsmans and the Twimans to the reptilians after he came back with the gold deal with Inky, right? Because Alelu got caught though. He got caught essentially. But the deal. So let me give you the real quick rundown on it. So you have a backstory before we go to the next couple of tapes. So essentially, you know about the Proconians, albinos being sold to the reptilians. They was eating the white meat at first. They set up a planet called, they set up on this planet called Aldebaran. And they start, set up a religion, etc. Start adopting them every certain amount of years, like cows, like just like a farmer might send a diesel truck trailer to pick up a couple amount of cows, take them to the slaughterhouse. That's what they do. All right, so that's what he was pretty much explaining. All right, so essentially, Alelu had found gold on Earth, and that's what spun Anunnum to come here. Boom, the speeding up to Alelu had a part stake in the gold finding deal that Anu made with the Dragon reptilians that were already here. Speeding up to them making the Lulu Amalus, upgrading the Homo erectus into Homo sapiens. And these beings now had this new thing called an adrenaline gland. And Alelu was coming here. He's the one you calling Dogon, the god Dogon. He's a Nomos king. He was the king of the Nomos, but he was a Nu's half brother. And the Dogon thing is a part of the religious strategy that come. The Dogon, the Nomos connect with it because they were working with the reptilians against these Dragons because they was working with the reptilians against the Anunnakis because the Dragons because the Anunnakis blowing up their home star called Cyrus B. Right, so they joined on with these. A lot of groups joined on against the Anunnakis that can't live on Nibiru because of this. All right, so speeding back to them creating the Adam Project on Mars, where the face is. Boom, they upgraded that. Boom, had a new adrenaline gland. Boom, Layla was coming here still, and the Dogon shit stimulate all the way down to the worship system, which is pretty much Christianity, because that's why the Pope wear a fish hat. That's why Christians got to rock a fish on the back of their car. It's all fish this, fish that, because it connects with these Nomos and these Dragon reptilians. There's also another group called that's a bad bird race called the Canarians, who are the mother and father race of these these bad Dragon reptilians. And they worship but the Canarians, even though they older and they more wiser and more stricter, they worship the reptilians. It's like some people that's obsessed with their kids, like they just put all their energy into their kids. That's how these Canarian and the Canarians are these cardinal follow the Pope around, who walks around with the fish staff, the Dogon fish staff with his hat on. I'm telling you, man, a lot of that stuff you already should know. So Alelu Nim created the religious agenda is a part of keeping control of the herd and controlling the flock, having you thinking God and this God coming back, this and that, all that shit, right? That wasn't none of our shit. They mixed our shit with their shit. Our shit is the Injil. If you read the Injil, we said on the Revelations 22:8, get up, I am your fellow servant. So we ain't come to make you worship. The reptilians want you to bow. That's why if you read in Matthew's chapter 7, verse 7, when the dragon, Lucifer, Satan came to Yeshua, Jesus, in the desert of the wilderness after he had fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, he tried to get him bow, get down and serve me, worship me. I'm almighty, you know what I'm saying? Such and such, or this nigga, that nigga, right? Get down and bow before me. So that's the type of mindset that these Draconians got. They got to get down and bow versus the benevolent groups who say, oh yeah, get up, man. Don't bow on me, man. Hold on, player. We on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? You got to walk with me. That's a different type of being. That was the angel Michael, who's in the Revelations 22:8. So we done it with them type of mindsets of a get down, bow, or you know what I'm saying, versus hey man, hold on, lift up, get more intelligent. Those beings there are the four race alliance mentioned in Revelation chapter 4, where they want to make you ascend, help you ascend manually. That's what Yeshua's that's what the science of the story of Yeshua really is about. It's about how to ascend manually. Right, and they took a lot of Yahshua teachings. They don't teach, and some of it is about the chakra system because the real Yahshua went down to India and studied with them guys and learned their information and brought it back. That was a part of his school, but in connection with going to ancient Kemet and learning how to make beer, which they say turning water into wine, which was nothing else. We was doing it already in ancient Kemet. We was already making beer. Making wine, making the best shit. And we ain't had to save it for last. We just drank all that and make some more good shit. Better than the last shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, hey man, just get better and better and better and better with it. It's called moonshine, and they make toilet bowl wine in jail. That's another part of it. That's the first Jesus' first miracle is they do it in jail all the time. For the people that been to the slammer, they know what it's all about. That hooch punch or that toilet bowl wine, or well, they got other names for it. But that's another topic. But leading back down to what was we talking about? We was talking about Alelu. Alelu essentially speeding up to the Homo erectus being created, which is really the Sans man and one of the oldest people on the planet in the Kalahari Desert in Africa. We have beliefs and they was over. We see a similar genetics in the old people of South America, who are they call them the Afro Americans, South Americans. They look just like the Sans people, so they got a real thick afro, right? We have reason to believe that the Watusi might have mixed in with them down in South America. That they was over here first and migrated with the camels 6 million years ago back to Africa, because they give a storyline. See, like when we was on with Professor Small, shout out Professor Small. I wanted to ask him way more questions, but it's like, it was the way that we were set up. It was like I had to let him. He just wanted to go. I had to let him get all of his stuff off. But I would like to have a one-on-one with him to ask him, because I know if you go, I got I don't know if he know or not. I got a playlist called the African Culture, and I got over almost 250 tapes in there just on different tribes of Africa. And I got all the stuff everything that he was saying about Africa. I got it in that playlist, like Abraham Trez, what he doing, Thomas Kutara, all them guys, Kwame, how all them got took out. I got the whole rundown on Africa, the South African apartheid, the Berlin Conference. We got a story on Haile Selassie. We got a story on Nelson Mandela and why they kept him in prison and then essentially brought his clone out. Yeah, so we got all this information already. So and Professor Smalls even sparked me to do another African tape about the origin of the word Africa, because he gave me some damage and evidence against the word African in that tape. And this might be going off the subject a little bit, but yeah, that they weren't called Africans until 146 by the Romans. The Romans call them Africans, and they didn't call everybody Africans in that land. They only called one group Africans, and that was the Afar people. They called the Afar people Africans. And then later on, everybody in the world now Africans that dark skinned. Nah, man, that ain't how this shit work. Linguistically, logically, sense. They ain't how it work. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Based on genetics, I do got the Afar people in me because I got the tribe of Dan from the Williams, so I can say I'm an African too. I can say I'm a Afar Can. They are Afar Khan people. I can say I'm of that people because they was over here as the Magi's and the old Mississippians. The old Mississippians are the Afar people. The old Mississippians are the Afar land. So this can be old Mississippi land can be classified as a far land as well. If we want to talk about the people and being in certain locations, and then that name of that people, the geographical location is named after that. We could go into that. But yeah, that's just one thing. But we don't want to go too far off the thing. That's another class. That I got the African breakdown coming down, like why, because he said that we shouldn't be calling ourselves Moors, and we should be, which means the enlightened ones. We shouldn't be calling ourselves the enlightened ones. We should call ourselves Africans. You know what I'm saying? When the Africans are the Moors, the ones, the people that he calling that they the one tribe that they taking the word African and then applying it to everybody, that one tribe is Moors. That one tribe is the Afar people of Moors. Imhotep was Afar. So we could get into that. We could go down the rabbit hole, but yeah, the Kushites, the land of Kush is what they call in Africa. The land of Kush, right? And we was over here as well. Don't fool yourself. We was all over the place. We was over here, man. We was building ships 30,000 years ago. Don't let the devil come on and then tell you 6,000 this and that. Oh, Christopher Columbus. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have been none of. Nah, shut up. I don't want to hear no more. But that's another. Let's get back on this Draconian thing, because that's what it's Draconian. So we're talking about Laylu, and so we went because we went all the way out. But we're talking about Laylu after the upgrade of the Homo erectus into Homo sapiens. The Sandsman, the Sandsman, you know who to pull up the Sandsman, right? They were Alelu, these Dogon, these Nomos people were adopting these people. It was another group adopting and eating people too. They call the primitives. They live down in the Bermuda Triangle. We'll talk about them. They are the original reptilians. All reptilians spun, most reptilians spun from these original reptilians called the Meldekians, who came from the planet Meldek that got blew up by Nubaru, right? So you got them guys. So the beef go all the way back to the beef go all the way, like it's a lot of beefs going on, but the beef go all the way back. What was I saying? So Alelu began adopting some of these Sandsmen and stealing them, some of their children. And they would take them back to Neptune, and they started making deals with these Draconians. And then when the Draconians tasted these beans, and they got a rush like hit coke because of the adrenaline gland and the adrenaline, what you call adrenaline chrome. And so they made a deal with Alelu for 144,000 to collect 144,000. It says virgins. And they really mean like children, because of the children, they more tender and untainted versus somebody that's 40 years old and smoking cigarettes. They don't like to eat nobody like that. They want to eat somebody fresh who been eating fruits and vegetables. They more tastier. Just like you want a baby squirrel or a baby raccoon or a baby chicken. You want a baby back ribs. You want them, yeah. You want the baby back ribs. You won't be complaining. So the reptilians want baby back ribs. And you say, oh, you scared about that. But then you go right out and eat some goddamn ribs. Or you go right out and then get up in the morning and fry you some eggs, which is the chicken babies. You eat chicken babies. You eat baby back ribs. Yeah, and you complain about when the reptilian want to eat your babies and eat your baby back ribs. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to wake up and become, don't be food. Don't be food. The people that's left behind going to be food, man. And so, yeah, but essentially, to make a long story short, Alelu got cut out on the deal when he got caught by Anu, because they breaking galactic law by eating these people. You can't eat a sentient being. So they breaking galactical law by eating beings with souls, right? Essentially, they eat beings without. They created their own hybrid beings to eat without souls. That's where they won't be breaking galactic law, but they still breaking galactic law in a way by engineering them beings from existing sentient beings. So they really they really don't give a damn about galactic law. Really, these reptilians. But this is what they doing. All right, so says the question. That answered my question. Hey, shout out who that is, Kale, man. Yeah. So they really aren't supposed to be eating beings with a soul. They don't seem to get it's against galactic. That's a major violation, and that's why they on their ass right now. They on these Draconians' ass right now with the Platinum light lock. To lock their ass in and come and pretty much sending the balls in there, destroying all the underground bunkers. It's a war going on underground and in the sky right now versus the reptilians versus our ancestors. and the some of the reptilians are part of our ancestors, and that's the benevolent ones. And some of us is part of those disagreeable ones as well. But to make a long story short, Alelu got fired because he was running the whole operation from Orion, from the 3 stars in Orion, at the international galactic intake. That's where the 3 stars in Orion belt is actually, instead of 3 stars, you can only see 3 stars as visible. But if you had a high powered telescope, you can see that it's 9 stars, and it's 9 stars in that belt. Because some of them are tri-solar and quadruple solar systems. The one in the middle is the only one that don't got it's only a star by itself, but it's about 20 times, I think, bigger than your sun. So you think that that's a 20 times bigger, that sun is 20 times bigger than your sun, and then you got 9, 10, 15, 12 planets rotating around your sun, right? 9 got life on them. And then you think there ain't no planets rotating around a sun that's 20 times bigger than yours? Those planets are 20 times. The planets that's rotating around that joint is 20 times bigger than your planets. And it's actually 9 planets rotating around it. We actually put a tape out on it already. I got a tape coming out called Field Trip to Orion. That's gonna be fire on the AI side, right? Yeah, so Alelu got fired. He ended up recruiting his nephew, his great nephew, who is Enlil's son, who is known as Adad, Nanar's brother, Baal, to head up the mission, which was the herd, the 144,000, in exchange for Baal. He offered Baal a part of the deal. To make a long story short, Baal took the offer and set up an order. It got older names, but you know him as the Baphomet. It's got older names than it though, but you know him as the Baphomet. And the Mulak, the worship of Mulak, the goat Menes, the god Pan, Peter Pan. If you go study the writer of Peter Pan, you'll see that he was a Greek. He's a guy that was a big fan of the god Pan, and he actually wrote that this cartoon Peter Pan after the Greek god Pan, who takes and Peter Pan kidnaps the children and takes them to Neverland where they never return. Right, Peter Pan. So just think about all that information, and when we talk about when they asked Alice Collier in this last clip we just played about the kids that's missing, they tell you in these movies and in symbolic, because part of the ritual of the Kabbalahs is they gotta tell you who these guys, because the Kabbalah is another name for this same order that I'm telling you about that goes back to the deal with Alelu. And their whole ideology is we got to tell them what we're doing to them, because if we don't tell them, we could be breaking galactical law. So these people tread a thin line on breaking galactical law, but they say that if we tell them what we're doing to them and show them in the movies and put it in the archives and put it into museums and put it into books, that if they don't stop us, they agree to it. Essentially, this how the Draconians think. And then so Baal created a secret priesthood, and he chose certain humans to bring them into these orders, this secret order, to where they were gonna have a certain amount of secrets, and then they were gonna herd the humans using religion, using different religions. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity all spun from this Kabbalism, the goat Menes, all this, it all ties in all together. The goat Menes is about the scapegoat. The scapegoat is the same storyline as Jesus. Jesus was a scapegoat. The story of the scapegoat, if you go back to the Old Testament, is when they the Jews put all their sins on this goat, then drop them off the cliff. So they tell you that Jesus took all the sins of the world, then they drove him off a cliff, essentially by hanging him on the cross and killing him. Right? So it's the same. It's the goat Menes. It's the same. If you look at some of the pictures of Jesus and then where he pointing his fingers and things, and then put them in cross reference them with the goat menace, the Baphomet symbols, you see looking at the same thing, right? So it's all tied in together. I'm telling you, man, like, don't get mad at the truth. If you in here, a lot of the stuff if you can't handle it, just go and go to sleep, man. You know what I'm saying? Or go and go to church. Because let's have a lot of this information, it might be way, it might be way too far. But that's the same. So it's all reptilians stemming down from that deal, like I told you. And their job was to herd these certain amount of kids so that they can be eaten. And so it's humans, even though Bill got cast into the fourth dimension and he got different zoo types. One of his zoo types is Bazabuk, who is a fly zoo type. Then he got the goat zoo type, and then he got the bull Mulak looking zoo type. So he got different zoo types that he represent. But these bad guys, these people that saying they are who they are, but they're not. Like Revelations chapter 2 verse 9, Revelations chapter 3 verse 9. Essentially, these guys are the synagogues of Satan, and they are the ones that's eating the children and etc. Like we said, so they still worship that same order coming all the way down from this deal to hurt the 144,000 with the Lelu and the Dragon reptilians. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Here now, where they're eight, that's tough. That's tough. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen? And why should people stay in denial about it?
Now, how are they able to do this? How are they able to? How are they able to? How are they able to do it? How are they able to come up out of this from underground and do it? Or do they have?
There are tunneling systems everywhere. They're being helped by the Greys, and also there are groups within the higher echelon that are actually helping them acquire this.
So human beings are abducting the kids and giving them to the Greys to in turn give them to the Alpha Draconians?
That's right. That's part of the deal. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves.
Hey, correction. Hey, if I think I said that where he tempted Yahshua, I think it was like I said, chapter 7, it was chapter 4, verse 4, where Yahshua was being tempted.
No, I don't know. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. They don't like us. We're considered a food source for them. For them. You know, we're a food source for the Greys, but in an entirely different way.
Have they taught us to be carnivorous through the belief systems? Have they taught us to eat meat and eat flesh?
Well, it lowers the body's vibration. It lowers the body's vibration.
So,
if our body vibrated at a higher length, we would spiritually be evolving regardless of what our religions are teaching us. And they can't have that. They can't have us being free.
So
they can't us not being in control, because then we're responsible for ourselves.
So as we move away from eating meat and more towards vegetarianism, we begin to raise our vibrational level and break this cycle.
It helps. Not everybody has to stop eating meat. It's not an absolute requirement. It certainly helps. But some people's belief systems will be that they just need a piece of meat. And for whatever their reasons are, that's fine. If you want to eat meat, that's fine. But you know what? Feed your mind. Feed your mind with spirit, with questions about existence, about what it is we're doing here, why we're here, what the hell is really going on? Why is it that I have all these material things and I'm still miserable in my life?
Well, you know, I know.
They're ugly. I mean, they think we're ugly, too. You know, I guess it's all a matter of perspective and belief system. In my belief system, and I'm only taking responsibility for me, they're ugly. They're anywhere from 7 to 22 feet tall. They can weigh up to 1,800 pounds. They're reptilian. The longer, the ones that have stubby tails, if you see one that has no tail, he's of the warrior class, or the worker class. The longer the tail, the higher their rank. When you see one with long tails, with winged appendages, he's considered royalty. There is a way to kill them. If you can't cut off their head, they have two hearts. There's one here, underneath this armpit, and one here. Or if you can't get to that area and you need to slow it down, you need to hit it right above its groin area. It has a very large liver. You need to wound it there to slow it down. It is not something where man-to-man combat you're going to be able to deal with, because they apparently have the strength of 12, 15 men. They're incredibly quick. They're incredibly psychic. They know what you're going to do before you do it.
Hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, so keep in mind, there's different ancient stories from our ancestors on the land from different Native American tribes, especially close to the Grand Canyon, who give accounts of them having to move their whole village from close to certain caves because the kids were being kidnapped and certain people being kidnapped by these reptilians who live in the cave systems. So keep that in mind. And I'm gonna end up pulling up some of those stories. I got some of them in my file. I'm building a file for that too, so I can bring that up and show you that it was different Native American tribes in Arizona, like the Hopi and other tribes who moved around from certain areas. It's a tribe that live in the middle of the Grand Canyon still, and they talk about it, that some of these cave entrance to these reptilian cave systems, right? Let's get more into it.
They are all genetic manipulated half-breeds of the original.
Oh yeah, this is what I want to say too about the so essentially Doc said it's about 16 different races of these reptilians, different types. We already covered most of them in a different extraterrestrial playlist, like the Vrills. They are Aldebarans, but they originally from the Nomos, from Cyrus B. The ones that we're dealing with, like I said, the Draconians, the Vril, the bad ones. It's a couple ones they don't even got. It's a couple bad reptilians. They don't even connect with the the Dragons. They against the Dragons and they against the Anarchies. They consider both of them to be bad. The Anarchies and the Dragons to be bad guys. So we're dealing with that many different types, and then we got others like the Greys. The government talking about some of this, right? But they only talking about the Greys, certain groups of reptilians, and the Nordics, right? Like the tall whites, and the tall whites really are a hybrid race from the Greys and some of the white people that was adopting. They was adopted. The government, also keep in mind, the government was running experiments where they were dressing up in these skin suits, getting midgets to dress up. And yeah, it might sound funny, man, but they would get midgets to dress up like Greys, and then they were using some of their reverse engineered crafts to adopt humans and then stage it like then they would have alien freak-offs inside the craft, and they would film it. Yeah, man, I ain't making none of this up. You think I'm lying? I'm gonna bring I got receipts. I got receipts on the dude talking about this. Matter of fact, go pull up Donald Marshall. Donald Marshall was talking about it. Y'all remember Donald Marshall, who said he was from the clone facility? He talked about the alien freakouts that the government was having at Area 51. They was adopting people, dressing midgets up like Greys, and then they had film and had a Grey rape molest, had 3 midget Greys molest a kid or something, and they put it on tape, man. And they was doing crazy, like these motherfucking billionaires. They was running out of weird shit. I'm telling you, man, go pull up Donald Marshall interview. He talked about it in the interview about the alien freakouts, about the so-called alien freakouts, but it's really human, like human people dressed up like aliens. Then they acting like they adopting the people, and the people they got certain technology that can fuck with their brain, make them like the shit that they showed you in Man in Black, where they flash the people and make them forget. The government got that technology. The flash machine, everything they showed you in Man in Black, they got essentially. Doc was telling us about that. Yeah, go pull up Donald Marshall. He talked about that, about them doing the fake ass alien freakouts. So listen to this dude right here. This is Alex Carr. He gonna tell you because like say they look different. Some of them got green skin, yellowish green skin, light green skin. Some of them got a dookie brown look, right? So there's different skin colors. Some of them can shade shift, right? The ones that's using more the more higher salons, they can shade shift. The ones that's using more of their brain. Then it's a lower level ones. They, like I said, they got a brain the size of a pea brain. They only do what they told, and they can be killed. The government has killed so many since the war started. The government has killed a lot of these things and captured them and brought them back and have them got them in a pile. Like a whole bunch of these, especially those ones that the in the Grand Canyon, they've been battling these people in the Grand Canyon for a while, right? And these ones at the Hopi city that was kidnapping their people, the government been in Canada. Let's get into it.
They are all genetic manipulated half-breeds of the original sea-car race. They stand 18 to 25 feet tall and can weigh up to 2,500 pounds.
Oh yeah, also the C-car race is the ones that I just talked about. Remember, I just put out the AI by the it's called the cosmic menu, right? The C-car race is the head Draconian race, right? They the ones that's over the ones. Then they got ones that's over them that's within their race. They call them they albino reptilians. They mean they white rare snakes. But we're gonna get into that. But he finna break it down right here. I'm finna make me some tea real quick.
They are all genetic manipulated half-breeds of the original sea-car race. They stand 18 to 25 feet tall and can weigh up to 2,500 pounds. They're like Tyrannosaurus rexes. You know, they're monsters. Up to 2,500 pounds. They have black, leathery brown scaled bellies. They have multiple abdomens. They have whiskers along their chin and jawline. They had a mating claw and multiple tongues. I'm going to give you some very specific information. A mating claw. Honey, Robin, you need a mating claw. Well, we'll find somebody that's got a mating claw. And multiple tongues. Okay? They lay eggs, and what is called a battle hormone is used to accelerate the birthing process.
They're male and female?
Yes. They are a duality. This is why ancestral females did not participate in war. It's because if they did, there wouldn't be anybody there to help with the eggs. Okay? They also have to be there to secrete this hormone. Okay? I'm only sharing with you what I know about them, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Okay. Did not participate in war. Stronger young females were expected to defeat and kill older and weaker leaders in ritual combat. The sea-car race is ruled and managed by genetic lines, genetic lineage. And genetic lineage always follows the mother, because you always know who the mother is. You don't always know who the father is. Okay? So, you know, in that particular line, the gals have all the same. Ruled by a monarchy of a queen genetic lineage, they are one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. They have some of the greatest military might that has ever been seen in the galaxy. And most of the clan members are zealots and will do anything for the glory of their clans, of their lineage. They have been the chief enemy of all human races in this galaxy in past conflicts. Again, we're talking about hydrogen breathers versus oxygen breathers. They have 3 spinal columns. One spine is located ventrally near the stomach. The other 2 are located dorsally on the left and on the right of the sea car's body. The spinal columns join near the dorsal of the geometric center at the extreme posterior of the trunk to form a long and very powerful tail. Inside of the hands or claws of the sea car are jelly-like sacs that excrete various hormones and substances when the sea car is aroused, either for sex or for battle. The primary purpose of these enzymes is to initiate encrusting of sperm. Okay. There is an amazing amount of life out there, and they look at us and they think we're beasts as well. Honestly. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the Lyrans. Now, when I'm talking about the Lyrans, and then I'm going to talk about the human race as a whole, about some other things here. I've got some pretty good notes. I'm also talking about us, okay, and our ancestors, and all the ancestors of the ancient Lyran line, genetic line. Okay, now before I even get to that, I'm going to read the first sentence that I have on humans. The human race is unusual in having all of its members' race derive from one genetic line. Okay? That's an amazing thing. That is an amazing thing. Okay, so now let's talk about the Lyrans, and then we'll talk about.
Hey, yeah, so yeah, the Lyrans. I can talk about the Lyrans and all that. But I want to say this. So it's different types of reptilians that eat different types of things, and you can learn that by studying nature. Like turtles, certain types of turtles, they reptiles, but they eat vegetables as well as meat. So it's reptilians that eat vegetables as well. That's why in the beginning of the Bible, certain groups said, hey, Cain brought them, Abel brought them some good meat. And then Cain brought them some vegetables. They didn't want the vegetables. So them guys must then eat nothing but meat. You know what I'm saying? Them guys, they was carnivores. They didn't want no vegetables. They wanted meat. So yeah, man, you gotta read between the lines. Yeah, so if the guys came and they got vegetables and meat, then they were omnivores. But then in the beginning, God saying that, hey, y'all supposed to be he's saying vegetarians. And then they come in saying the meat, they get them to eat meat. But the reptilians is the ones that want you to eat a lot of meat, because the protein is what they like to make them stronger. Yeah, so you got different, and in nature, you got reptilians that swallow their food whole, and then they regurgitate the bones or the shell or whatever. So you got certain snakes, like the vril, who will swallow eat your ass whole. That's how they eat they eat you like an anaconda eat. They eat the baby whole. And then some of them like ripping them apart with the blood, scaring them. I got a whole video on it called the reptilians hidden in plain sight. And they shot up in that video, but on that video it show you a live reptilian feeding on a military base where they give this guy an AR-15 with full armor piercing rounds, and 5 reptilians shade shift and chase and hunt him on the military base, and he's shooting at him with the AR-15 with the armor piercing rounds, and it ain't even phasing the reptilians. So whatever type of skin they got, It's bulletproof. This one group that I showed on that particular take called the reptilians hidden in plain sight. So that's why they selling everybody these certain types of guns, because them guns don't work on them. They selling you 40 Glocks, all these guns, because them guns ain't gonna penetrate they shell. You got to shoot them in a certain spot. And they've been threatening the government, the world elite government, that they were gonna take over the surface if they don't keep feeding them and food. So it's one group that drank. There is one group that's more humanoid looking. They can really pass for humans. You term them as the vampires. They really nomos mix with certain groups like the Dogons. Doc talk about this in the Holy Tablets, and they live underground and made in underground advanced cities, and they the ones that's running all the blood drives and collecting all that blood. Where all that blood going? You ever had one? They collect a lot of blood. They got a blood drive almost on every corner now, and you notice it's more blood drive centers popping up every other month. Every other month. Why? Because their population is growing and they need more food, more blood to feed their people. So the game of that they end game is to pretty much form, tighten the form up more tighter, chip everybody like you put a tag on a cow, and tighten the form up tighter to where they force you to do certain things, and they're gonna be able to do it. Why? Because you symbolically agreed to it by not rejecting, by most people not even knowing it. They say, "Oh, that's all make believe. Ain't no off world. Ain't no this or that. That's all crazy. I'm gonna go with Jesus, and your ass gonna be Jesus. The guys who created Jesus is gonna be the guys who eating your ass. I'm telling you, man. The guys who created Jesus is gonna be the guys who selling your kids. It's the same guys who selling your kids to the reptilians. Now, Dracula wasn't a Draconian. Dracula is a part of these nomos. It's a group of they really like. I take that back. They not the Sakara Draconians, the head ones. The ones that Dracula was a part of are a crossbreed between the Draconians and the Nomos. These ones, they got wings like bat wings, and they got horns on their head. That's the ones that. And Dracula was really a hybrid humanoid of them beings, right? So he wouldn't the real dangerous. He more of like the ones that drink the blood. See, you got ones that drink blood. You you got insects that drink blood too, like mosquitoes and everything. But you got the Draconians that drink blood, and they show you that in the movie too, like in Star Trek or one of them, where they put their hand on your chest and they drink all your blood, and that's how they keep it make them younger. They also can drink your youth from you. These one group, right? So it's different groups that eat people different types of ways. Some like to put onions and butter and some onions in there, onions and bell peppers in there on you with a little bit of butter sauce, with some salad potatoes in there on you, and put you in the crock pot. They got the different, the alien crock pot, and let you simmer, and then they come back and eat you, man. Yeah, then you got another group that like to put you, they live in water, and they like to they roll you around until you dead in the water, right? And then they take you on and stuff you under a log until and let you swell up, let the water swell you up, and then they come back and rip parts off of you. That's one group, and they you know them as the crocodiles and alligators. Yeah, that's one group of reptilian. They eat you like that. They like to rotisserie you in the water. They rotisserie you and then stuff you under a log. Yeah, down in the mud. Let you sit there for a couple of days till you swell up, and then come back. Everybody get a leg or two, man, a leg and an arm, man. And then see how that tastes. If that's tasty, everybody come back for another slice. Yeah. Then you got another group who like to just adopt you, and they'll hang you up and lock you up, and just slice thin slices of your ass and make them sandwiches out of it, man. Yeah, thin slice, like the one, you know, when they ask you at the store how you want your fresh ham cut back in the day, right? Or you people that go get the processed meat, they say how you want it cut. You want a one or a two? They want that ass slice at a one, man. They want a sandwich. They want that ass cut. Yeah, they want that one slice. They gon' yeah, they eat it straight cold cut. Ass cold cut ass, man. Yeah, so that's another group. You don't want to get down. You don't want to get caught by that group. You really, if you want to get caught by some reptilians, you want to get caught by the guys that eat you whole. The guys that rip you apart. That is a good way to go out. All the guys that take slices of your ass cheek and make bologna sandwiches, man. That ain't cool right there, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, but back like I was saying, yeah, we got more clips, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We got some hot ass shit for you coming. Let's roll another clip.
We are reptilian in nature. If we are spliced from these ancient dragons or these ancient beings, a lot of us descend from them. Some people have more dormant genes than others. That's why some people are born with the gift of sight. Some people have certain supernatural gifts and talents that cannot be explained by modern science, Western science rather. So like if you open up your hands, you notice that like you have a web. Some people have a bigger web than others. And also guys, another fact or proof that we come from reptilian beings is that if you don't moisturize your skin or if you don't put oil on your skin starts to get like really dry, ashy, and scaly, right? So you start looking like what? A reptile. Your skin starts really getting dry and scaly, right? So you got to realize that a lot of these products and stuff that they push to you is kind of to hide your true natural essence of who you are. People who are born with a lisp or who have certain speech impediments come from the Nagas, the serpentine tribe. People who have really long tongues, right? Supernatural, like long tongues. Like I know somebody whose tongue can freaking like touch like the top of their nose. Like it's really crazy. Like they can even touch their eye with their freaking tongue. I'm like, yo, that's creepy, but that's crazy. A lot of these people like Kalima come from these Nagas, these serpentine energies, these serpent draconian spirits, these draconian lineage and tribes. So this stuff is very real. And if it wasn't real, then why is it that to this day, so many people live and talk by this power, draconian power? And we're going to get a lot more into like how to establish.
Because a lot of y'all are Draconians as well. So I wanted to point that out. That you got the reptilian brain, you know about that. We got a whole AI tape breaking down the reptilian brain. Doc taught us about that. You got, you know what I'm saying, the tadpole, the living in the water for not. Doc even we got a tape out too about called reptilian in the DNA. So you already know about that part, right? The reptilian. We really mostly reptilian. A lot of us are Naga and Nomos, right? The Naga part is why you see the cobra on our headdress. That's the Naga bloodline. So some of us got long necks. The long neck is a Naga bloodline. Right? So you keep that in mind, all these things. So we are mixed with reptilian. And that's another reason they fear us too, because we can go past them. We are their children. We're more scarier than them. Right? Like I was telling people the other night, when you humans could shoot a guy 15 times in the back, then give him CPR, that's more scarier than a reptilian just ripping your behind apart, just slicing a slice of your ass and making him a sandwich. That's more dangerous. If a guy shoot a guy in the back, then try to save him in the same breath, that's retarded. So that's more dangerous than reptilians. The humans are hard to trust. At least we know the reptilians gonna certain groups gonna be bad guys, and that's all they gonna be. We know they bad guys. But you on the other hand, you could be a bad guy and then you could be a good guy. Man, that's tricky. That's tricky, man. That's the same. So that's, you know what nature that is? That's the nature of the Nomos. Those who claim to know the most. They were neutral zords. See, it's 3 different types of creatures, spirits or energies. You got the electron, which is the negative. You got the proton, which is the positive, and that translated to seraphims. The electrons translated to seraphims, I mean cherubims, and then the nucleus, which is the throne of God, which is the neutral Zord beings, which is a combination of the both. So the we are the neutral Zords. We're more dangerous than cherubims and seraphim because we both of them put together. We more dangerous than them put together. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can stab a guy, rise, and you tell him you love him, man. The Draconian can't do that. The Draconian just can stab you up. He can't say he love you. Well, after before and after he stabbed you up. Man, you humans can tell a guy you love him while you stabbing him. I love you, I love you, I love you. And if they got these crimes called passion crime, where the cop said, yeah, a guy got stabbed 470 times. I'm saying to myself, I'm telling my old lady, man, that wasn't no stabbing. That was a butcher. That was butchery, man. That was you said a guy got stabbed, he got hit 1, 2, 3 times. That's a stabbing. Man, the stabbing the guy 400 times, man, she butchered him up. That ain't no stabbing. That's way worse than the stabbing. A guy gets stabbed 1, 2 times, man. That's a stab. 1 a time is a stabbing. Shit, once you get hit more than 4 or 5 times with that blade, man, they tried to butcher you up. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. Real talk. So, yeah, that's what, see, humans more dangerous. And, you know, so we are reptilians. She tell you about the web hands, web feet. That connects back to the Nomos, like I say, and the Meldekians, who were it was a one group that was aggressive called the primitives, and they were the ones that when they used to live down there before they moved, and they still got a base down there though. So they still got bases down there, but they moved to the Zados Reticuli star system. These guys, they were dangerous. They were aggressive. Little wit, they little 4 foot tall guys, web hand, web feet, and they real intelligent. Talk about them too, the Troglodytes or the Meldekians. And the Holy Tablets, they plenty got destroyed by Nibiru. So yeah, keep this in mind, man, when you thinking about that, right? So let's roll some more clips. We got so many clips, man. We gotta keep you up for a while.
And I don't like using that demon word because that adds fear to the shit. They really parasites. Because the way they feed, they don't eat flesh. They don't eat fucking people and shit. This is not them. They eat and drink frequency. So I want to talk to y'all about the reptilians. We're going to call them the reps. And you got to be spiritually prepared. You got to be able to go within. You got to be able to protect yourself. You got to be able to really decipher the fucking Bible if that's something that you use. Because a lot of y'all don't know everything in the Bible is metaphysical. It's metaphorical. It's deeper than what you perceiving. And what I'm about to talk to y'all is metaphorical. Y'all think the reptilians is some lizard shit, but it's really something that, and y'all think it shapeshifts, etc. All that is true, but it's metaphorical. You got to understand what I'm about to tell you. These motherfuckers. So first of all, you got to know what they are and how they live with us. And a lot of people be like, how do you know this? I don't know shit, I remember. But these motherfuckers, first of all, where do they live? They live right with us. For the most part, the lower level ones, because it's different levels of them. You got some lower level ones who choose to live in cities where it's a lot of chaos, a lot of just negative energy, negative thoughts. That's what they drink. They normally live in high places, like top of high-rise buildings. They like being in like penthouses, like on the top of shit. And they take on human forms, yes. And every form that they take on, they hijack.
To it, so it's different types. They eat different forms, like we explained at the beginning. You got the auras who are collecting the energy to try to get out the 6th dimension. Then you got those who are working on the lower levels who actually consume human flesh, right? And then you got those who actually are collecting this energy that comes into this dimension to collect energy, like they showed you in the movie Monsters Inc., right? And so, yeah, we dealing with all types though. We're dealing with the physical types and the other types, right?
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall. We haven't.
And I'm gonna tell you a lot of reasons that we're dealing with those particular types is because a lot of them got bases set up here, or are actually from Earth, like the reptilians and the insectoids. All the races really on that list got ties with Earth. The Nautics are the reptilians hybrid engineered front man, pretty much they're humanoid front man. The Nautics are the reptilians humanoid front man, and they marked as the devil because of that. Remember, Dr. Muhammad used to say what he used to say. So they're marked as the devil, them guys. And then the insectoids are right hand mans, especially the dangerous, the bad mantis ones, and the insect like the mosquitoes and other bad ones joined because they joined 1/3 of the galactics, different species join on with they claiming to be the Galactic Republic, but they're not the Galactic Republic. They got more of a communist their own created communist type of monarchies a type of system where they rule, right? Where the queen rule, just like in England, right? When they had the Queen Elizabeth, you know what I'm saying? Queen Elizabeth, right? So yeah, that's all connected. Here we go.
4 different species.
You've all passed the test.
Test for what?
To ensure that you're not a visitor. In order to walk among us, they disguised their appearance by cloning human flesh over their own reptilian skin. I thought everyone here was up to speed. But the visitors didn't just
always practice all of these things on us first. The problem with these things is that we don't view this as a military attack. We seem to think medicine is some innocent thing. Medicine is run by the military. Always has been. The founders of European medicine are military doctors. They are medical men who are military-minded. The body is trying to attack itself. They come out with all this attack language. The body is attacking itself. You got an autoimmune disease. Bacteria is attacking you. Everything's attacked because these were military people. And they still approach the body as the enemy today. Who's in charge of medicine in America? What's his title? The Surgeon General.
Why? Because all they want to do is cut parts off of you so they can pass them to the reptilians, man. That's what it's all about. Cut them parts off, man, and sell them on the dark market to reptilians. Certain parts is tasty, man, to these guys. A liver, you eat livers, you eat chicken livers. Y'all eat chicken gizzards. You eat chitlins. Some of y'all stanky chitlins.
The Bible was created for the sole purpose of enslaving humanity. The author of the Bible is in the title. It is Bible. I'm going to read you a couple verses that prove my point to a T, and you can read along with me. 1 Peter 2:18. Slaves, in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. 1 Timothy.
I can't hear, but he's saying the Bible is Babel. And who is Baal? Mulak, Goat Menes, Baphomet. The same setup I was just telling you. Right? And like Doc pointed out also, in the beginning of the Bible in Genesis, the people who are writing it are looking up out of the water because they said that the earth was covered with water and they said that God hovered above the face of the deep. So whoever was writing this shit had to be in the water looking up at God hovering. It wasn't God writing it. They writing about God. They writing about Moses. If you read Matthew chapter 9, it says, well, Jesus walked up and then he seen Matthew. How is Matthew's writing this, but then it's in third person in the chapter Matthew's chapter 9. So they've been running the game for quite some time. They really never thought we would snap out of it because they put a mechanism of fear, and they got bots out here who will generate fear, saying, "Oh, you better be scared of God. You better bow before God. Every knee gonna bow and every tongue gonna confess." Yeah, you gonna confess, all right. That after they get a slice of your ass, as a God get a slice. And some people think that I'm blessed. People that starts down holy rollers who blind to the fact think that I'm blaspheming right now. That's the killer. That's how much fear and trap mechanism they put to keep us in this religions. Re means to do again. Legions is a group of demons. So they want to keep us plagued by a group of demons. And they can go all the way down from microcosmic demons, which are bacteria and viruses, all the way up to mega demons, who are some jinns. Yeah, because there's jinns walking around, man. Look, I'm gonna play a clip for you. Watch this. There's some jinns walking around, man.
This is from several insiders now, the highest level stuff that I can give you. The reptilians have created these technologies, including these gigantic tankers. We're talking 2.5 mile long ships hovering in low Earth orbit, cloaked so you can't see them.
What's in them?
Mind control technology that is preventing us from having this spiritual shift. Our government, they now have the ability to shoot those tankers down. The problem they're having, George, is that it's not like a fader dial where you can kind of fade out the mind control. It's either on or it's off. So they haven't shot the tankers down yet, because when they do, you start to create whatever you think, manifesting your own reality in real time. And if you go into a panic,
So essentially what he's saying is that the reptilians got some kind of huge satellite devices floating around the planet, and that they causing the mind control, and that the government know about them, but they won't shoot them down right now because everybody's gonna be out of this mind control thing or whatever he's saying, man. Yeah, that's okay.
All 9 Supreme Court justices shapeshift into reptilians. Did you know that for thousands of years, creatures from the constellation Draco have been mating with humans to form a super race that includes 43 U.S. presidents, most members of Congress, and the entire British royal family? Do you believe that intelligent life exists on other planets?
So these Dracos seem to be a group of beings that are a very, very warring race that are always trying to take over and dominate. They want, some of these people, and I call them people, whether they're Dracos or whatever, because they're all still sentient beings. They want to dominate everything. They want everything. They want to be worshipped. They want to take over planets. They want to take over constellations, star systems, whatever it is. They want to take it over and they want to dominate it. And they go to war a lot. They're heavily into war. It's almost like the Klingons from Star Trek. It's like a race of beings that got to the space level, which is crazy that you can get to that level by being a race of warriors, which is what they are. And they want to dominate everything. And they created a lot of wars in the ancient past. If you look at the Ubaid culture, pre-Anunnaki, Ubaid, U-B-A-I-D, they landed on this planet long before the people we know as Anunnaki got here, even though they would be considered an Anunnaki too, because they're just, they got here before. I'm separating them now because the Ubaid culture got here before the ones that we knew turned us into slaves. Right. But the Ubaid culture lived here. The structures that they lived in were discovered, dilapidated and worn down from weathering and age, but they're still there. There's even some images available that you can download from the historical sites.
It looks like the Ube is the Coneheads and ties with that mothership that they said that crashed in Greenland 50,000 years ago. I'm gonna do more research on that, look into it. But it looked like that, it was a cone head looking being, and it was a group. It was a group of cone head reptilians that did run across that information. Shout out Billy Carson, man.
What is the ultimate agenda then of the Alpha Draconians in relation to Earth and to this part of the galaxy?
They do not want our galaxy to move into fourth and fifth density consciousness, because they lose complete power.
But it will anyway, won't it?
Not necessarily. There are no guarantees. There are no guarantees. There's no guarantee that Earth is going to go into fourth or fifth density. There's no guarantees that the entire galaxy is going to get there. Because if that were the case, they would probably just leave us alone and not give a damn what was happening here. No. You see, the Draconians are third density. They're physical just like us. They can only move into fourth density by mechanical means. If we move into fourth and fifth density, they've lost their playground. They've lost control of what they want to control. So they're fighting like hell trying to hold everything back. Because if they can hold everything back, then again, it's a form of power, of control.
Now,
it's such a mess.
Alex, how do the Andromedans plan to remove the Alpha Draconians? You said they're the bullies are the strongest. Can they not be?
Apparently, the universe has created its own way of doing that, and maybe this is a good place to end. In the beginning, and here's the history of our universe, where it was created. The Big Bang Theory is essentially right in its simplicity. But apparently, what happened was, as vibrations, as the universe starts to excel in light this way, there are pockets, and you have to look at it as a holographic projection of light. When you put a shadow into a light, it creates a variance of the light. Well, apparently what happens is things that don't ascend or choose to take higher consciousness, they get very, very heavy in weight or in light, whatever you want to call it. And as everything starts to exceed up, bulges, dips in light are created, in frequency are created. And what happens is negativity forms, because of its weight, its heaviness, forms into these pockets. Well, what happens is they form a sac. And eventually what happens is those sacs break. And because everything is spirit and nothing is ever wasted, they form, when they explode, they cast themselves out and they form another universe. They create a space for them to continue. Well, that's how our black holes are. That's how they were formed. Those black holes, if we could get through them, would be to another universe. They're portals. And it would just explode out. Well, that's how our universe was created. Well, because of this new energy that's being formed, pockets of resistance are now being formed all through the universe. And in our galaxy, it's right now between us and Sirius.
So the way that the Andromedans plan to remove the Alpha Draconians would be?
Is basically to try to contain them, and their own energy themselves will suck them into a place of darkness so they can move out into another place. The Greys, the Orion groups, this is going to happen. It's happened before. They know it's happening now, and this is why everybody feels this intense energy. Things are suddenly really starting to increase, and it's simply because it is increasing.
So at a prior time, then, they were sucked out of another universe into Alpha Draconis? Is that basically essentially what happened?
They were sucked from wherever they were into another universe. How somehow that universe, or the beings in that universe, wherever they came from, said, we got to get rid of these guys, and they literally brought them here from their universe and dumped them and said, boom, this is where you are. Because they came here in physical form, which means they had to have been brought here. They didn't evolve like all the other life forms here have evolved. They were brought here in full physical form, which means they were created someplace else and dumped here and said,
Alex Carr, you're missing that part. So we got the part how they were created. I got a tape out. I got another AI tape coming out on the creation of the reptilians. They were created over a period of time of evolution, and the reason why they saying that they came here is because some of them came back from they came from Cyrus. and Draconian star system when they came back to Earth. But it's a billions of years go by in this time frame of them of the Meldekians, then they having a war with the insects. Because if you look at the food chain gives you the galactic breakdown of the creation. So if you look at the beings that go out to the insects are the most in number on all the beings on the planet. The insects outnumber everybody. But to counter the insects, the Anunnakis created the reptilians, and the reptilians eat most of the reptilians and most eat these insects like mosquitoes, all the grasshoppers, etc. And so that was the counter that. And so a Mother Huber ended up creating a more powerful military, and then crossbreeding them with different other species. Like in order to make the reptilians poisonous, some of them she crossbred them with poisonous plants. Like you got plants like poison ivy. You got a lot of the poisons coming from plants, right? And so she crossbred the poisonous plants with these reptilians essentially, and that's what gave them the poison. And then she wanted to make a military that can fly, like an Air Force reptilian army. And so she crossbred them back in with the Canarians, and they gave these now serpent dragon looking beings with wings. And so now you got the ground army, you got a water military, which would be like the Navy. So you got water reptilians, you got land reptilians. And then you got reptilians who thrive in the air. Keep in mind the birds lay eggs, right? We got to get all the rest of these clips out on you real quick though, because we got a couple more. It's running late. Hold on, let me get some more off on you. Let's see what this one says.
The competition for the time matrix. They knew what the Elohim were going to do, and they decided they would do it too. They didn't petition for help. They said, fine, we'll both get rid of them, and then we'll go after each other and see who gets the matrix. But the Odedicron, the reptilians, didn't want to play the game. They were stuck in the Gate 10 system, and they petitioned for help. But because you had Gate 11 and the Elohim in the middle, in between Gate 12 and Gate 10, we weren't able to rescue or get the Odedicron out. So if the decision to defend by simply putting up a shield around Gate 12 was chosen, it would have taken out both Gate 11 and Gate 10, which could have been repaired. It would have taken a long time, but it could have been repaired using Gate 12. But those consciousness that were in those systems would be fragmented back to space dust. They'd still be part of God, as I've said. They can never be not part of God. But races that had beautiful potential, and they'd already come a long way in their evolution. They'd evolved from 950 billion years ago to 250 billion years ago. That's a lot of evolution. And they had reached wondrous things in their own right in certain ways. It was primarily because of the Odedicron, of the reptilians, that the founders chose to allow, knowing they were taking a burden onto themselves. But it was the only way that if they allowed it, they would slowly be able to heal it. They knew a black hole would be created if this were allowed. They tried to talk them out of it, but they didn't want to listen. The Elohim did not want to listen. Instead,
whenever you see one, you ought to just run like hell. You shouldn't approach it. You shouldn't provoke it. Just get the hell out of its way. Just get out of its way. Just run. It is not something where man-to-man combat you're going to be able to deal with, because they apparently have...
Why else are they dangerous to humanity?
Because they don't like us.
And what are they willing to do with humanity?
Eat us. There's no need for us. I mean, look at where we are. Look at us right now as a civilization, as a society. They don't need anything. They have all this technology that they want. We can't really offer them except maybe work, do some work for them. But they don't need all of us to work for them. They don't respect human life in any way whatsoever. Mankind on a whole is really agricultural. We really, as a race, if we were left alone, would be nurturing the earth. We would be living in tribal communities like the Native American Indians did.
That would explain why we're all so miserable now. We have...
So yeah, essentially, our overview is that they don't want us to get past the fourth dimension. They don't give a dang about humans because humans just like chicken, just like you feel about the chicken, the cows. You eat hamburgers every day. All these different living beings you eat every day, and you how you feel about them. You don't give a care. You go McDonald's or whatever. I don't know if McDonald's selling real cow. They ain't selling no moo in that place, right? And McDonald's, half of these fast food restaurants ain't selling real moo no more, right? That's what my grandma call it, real moo, real cow. But yeah, man, a real cock-a-doodle-doo. That half of these places selling cock-a-doodle-doo grown in the lab, man. You gotta be careful, like Chick-fil-A, man. I'm telling you, man, no cock-a-doodle-doo or no moo. And going on around in his joint, man. It's all reptilian hybrid foods to get you fattened up and for the kill, man. Yeah, these suckers don't want to deal with us, man. They only gonna eat people that's left behind. They only gonna be able to eat the people that's left in on a third dimensional vibrational level. They can't even see us. The people, most of y'all that's watching, y'all already then went past a certain vibrational level to where you're aware of all this stuff that we've been telling you in this tape, and pretty much you'll taste nasty to them, so they're not gonna want to deal with you. The people who they gonna eat, they already, the people that went out and got the jab willingly. Well, they don't got no job, nothing. They weren't forced to go get it. They willingly said, "Oh man, Bill Gates is smart. I'm gonna do what Bill Gates said." And then the guys they gonna get eaten. The guys that want to do what Bill Gates say. Bill Gates is a smart guy, and he built computers. So if you don't listen to him, you crazy, man. You gonna listen to Lil Willie on the corner who drank 40s all day, who said that he talked to God, and he said God said, "I'll go out and get the Ali." But you went and listen, say, "Bill, oh man, he a drunk." I'm gonna listen to Bill Gates. And I'm gonna go out and get them guys. They're gonna be the guys that get eaten and get the a slice of ass cheek. They're gonna be in the cage getting the ass cheek sliced off and watching the reptilians eat ass, fried ass and sandwiches. And they gonna be, man, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing. And then but they the same niggas that was eating fried eggs and bacon and in the morning. Yeah, them same guys. And they the same guys that say, "Let me go out and get, the Ali." I'm telling you, man. Or they, them guys there. You ain't gonna get eaten, man, because you a talking chicken, man. Nobody want to eat a talking chicken. It takes the flavor out. Takes the flavor out of you, man, when you can aware of the reptilian Draconians eating. It takes the flavor out of you, man. You don't gonna taste good no more. And so yeah, that's why we bringing this to you, man. Let's give you a little bit more of what we got here, man. Going on. Let's see what we got.
There was also a group, the Draconian legions. There's the main Draconian. When we say Draconian, there's several different versions of Draconian and reptile races. Draconians and reptiles are not the same thing. Most people think Draconian and reptile is all the same. It's not. The Draconian collectives were originally fallen seraphim races that came from Vega. They were originally from Vega in Lyra, up in the higher densities when they were first created. They moved out into the Orion star system, most of them. And there are several planets. One of them is named by our scientists or whatever. It's called Aln, A-L-N. I think it's spelled A-L-N. There's several other planets right in around that area. Each of them were inhabited by different collectives of reptile and Draconian. So the Draconian agenda races, most of them are from Orion. One of them is from Andromeda. The ones that are from Orion, the main ones, and the real nasty troublemaker ones, are called the Omicron matrix. It's a family name. It's the Omicron. They're the ones that kind of look like, they did everything from dinosaur type beings to what they look like themselves were density 4. Now this is like liquid light stuff. They're D10. They can't go higher than D10. They have a reverse 10 strand DNA template. They tend to take on the forms, like if we would see them, they would look like not reptile lizards, but more like dragons, okay? Dragons, gargoyles, that kind of thing. Omicron was one of the
Dang, y'all. Hold on, they cut my I had to go to my laptop. My phone went dead. Hold on, I gotta
late one night, so I got off at 12 midnight. I didn't get my workout in that day, so I decided to get my run and walk in before I go to bed. So as I was walking, I seen someone up in front of me coming towards me, but it was kind of far off, and I could tell it was a person. It was human, had a human shape, and I'm thinking, well, it's just somebody's walking, you know. And I got to where they turned off, and I continued to proceed to walk. I didn't see this person no more. So as I proceeded to walk, I got on down, and I got to my spot. So as I got to the destination where this person turned left at, I looked again. This person is standing in the middle of the road, and as I was looking, I was like, hold on. This person looks like a snake, like a standing snake. So as I was looking, I started walking fast, and I kind of picked it up, and I started running. This thing started chasing me. And as it started chasing me, I kind of looked back. It was like a reptilian looking figure. It had scaly skin. As I was running, I could tell that it was running, and it was kind of running a limp. This thing, tongue was hanging out his mouth, and his tongue could touch his chest if it wanted to. But this thing was chasing me, it was chasing me, it was chasing me, it was chasing me, but I was in shape, I was running hard. And when I got to my spot, to my apartment complex, I looked back, it was gone. Reptilian people are real.
People be talking about, man, that shit is true. I don't want to tell this fucking story. My neighbor insists that I do, so I don't know why he won't get on camera and say the shit, but I'm gonna say it. Was it Wednesday? Thursday. We went to Tractor Supply and we got some snake stopper. And we came back to the house. Our yards are connected. Right? Our yards are connected or whatever. So I'm putting some around my house. He put some around his house. And then we just kind of out there talking shit, doing it together. For real. Me being clumsy and, you know, talking shit. Accidentally got some of this shit on us. So he was like, man, hey, pretty boy, you ain't got time to go back in the house to take a shower. We got to go back and get some more stuff. So we went back, got some more stuff, got in line. And it was my neighbor, me, and this mixed-looking guy behind me. Maybe the mixed-looking guy looked like he's about 35, 36 or whatever. So he kept sneezing, and his sneeze didn't sound like, it was like, like that. He kept on. And so my neighbor was like, man, yo, something weird going on with that guy behind. He sneezed again, and I turned around, like, this part of his face, coming from his nose, across this way, turned scaly. His eye had a slit, but the slit wasn't up and down, the slit was sideways. The cashier see that shit, she runs to the back. We get our stuff, we go out. He eventually, I don't know if he paid for his shit or what happened. He came on outside. He was like, yo, fellas, please don't tell anybody about this. I'm just like y'all, man. I'm just trying to live here. I'm just trying to make a living like you. And I'm like, yo, we didn't see shit. We got the fuck on. And then my neighbor got in the car, was like, yo, bro, I done seen this guy somewhere before. I think he worked at the courthouse. And I'm like, somebody like that working at the fucking courthouse, man, you believe what we just fucking saw? And it's making me think of the shit that we done seen on movies and stuff. Like, I done heard plenty of people say, like, hey, the stuff in the movies be true. That's how they get their true shit out. Like, put it in the movie, like, instead of telling us directly. And I'm like, man, whatever about that. But that scene in Man in Black when Tommy Lee Jones was telling Will Smith, I don't remember exactly how he said. He was like, oh, some of them just trying to make a decent living, like, you know. Will Smith, like, let me guess, cab drivers or something like that. And he was like, not many of them. It was something like that he had said, but yo, like, no, middle of his face, down his nose, come across this way, turn scaly. His eye had a slit, but the slit turned this way. What the? So I'm assuming that snake stop or whatever we was using triggered something in that motherfucker, man. Like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like,
Hey, soon they gonna be coming out. You're gonna see more, man. As we go into this Schumann resident, they ain't gonna be able to hold their form. A lot of their blood operations and their children, eating the children operations is dying out. So that's another thing that's affecting holding their form. Plus the Platian light lock. And the overlord, the real overlords, or the police on the mothership Nubaru, one of the mothership Nubaru that's here now, bringing judgment to the solar system. So these beings they've been breaking galactical law for a long time. They've been eating. You don't understand how long they've been eating kids. They've been eating kids for about 6,000 years. These Drake eating our children for over 6,000 years. So it's been going on a long ass time, generations, centuries. So you got to keep that in mind, eons, right? Because 2,000 years would be 2,100, right? It would be an age, and they've been eating humans for ages, and now we at the final where now you see now this information is out. People now how long have this information, it just hit the streets, it's really new information on far as the game plan on what been happening to our people and trying to play us like with some primitive Lulu Amalus. Well, the Lulu Amalus gonna get eaten. Those 8-man and robot guys who say, man, what you talking about, man? No such thing. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work and clock in, man, so I can make a couple dollars. Them guys there, man, they ain't gonna even see it coming. They're gonna be the guys that get sucked up in the bottom of the ship and get chopped up in the poke steaks, man, and freeze dried and packaged and sold galactic wide by these bad guys. Now, not all Draconians, like we said, are but disagreeable. We're only dealing with a small fraction, really. Because the original Dragons, who are the benevolent ones of this planet who still live here, Anna said she mentioned of visiting who connect with the Nagas, they benevolence. A lot of the Naga reptilian reptilians were benevolent. So you got to keep that in mind. So we only dealing with a small fraction who feel this way. But like I say, how do you feel about the chicken, man? When you go eat a chicken, Popeye chicken sandwich, man, how you feel about that? Do you feel a certain type of way about eating that chicken, or is it just a normal thing? Eating a chicken, eating the Popeye's chicken sandwich is normal. So eating a Popeye's human sandwich for reptilians is normal, man. It's just like going to Popeyes or going to McDonald's. So that's how they feel about it, right? So, in order for you, but if the chicken could talk, would you eat a talking chicken? Would you eat a talking chicken? Hell no. Most of y'all, like, if you go had to wring your own chicken and that chicken talk, you will get the hell out of town, man. You will leave your clothes. You will run so fast, you'll leave your clothes right there. Man, if a chicken started talking for you, got to wring him and eat him. But you got some humans out here, like I said, the humans more scarier than the Draconians. You got some humans that say, "Shut up, talking chicken, I'm gonna eat your ass. Shut up, so I can eat you." You got some niggas out here like that. They'll tell that chicken, "Shut up," so they can eat it, man. That's a real reptilian human right there, man. You got real reptilian traits. Yeah. You want to eat it? They want like, would you eat a pad, right? Shout out that boy Maurice Miller, man. The Millers, man. The Millers are a royal family on the land. The Millers connect back to the royal Afar people on the land. The Millers is my people. The Millers, the Williams, the Tates, the Harris. That's my peoples, man. Yeah, Millers is Choctaw, Washita. We got some Millers that's Yamasee in Georgia. And some even Shinnecock and Seminoles people, the Millers. Yeah, so depending on where you at though, depends on what tribe you connect with. Yeah, man, but yeah, just think about that and keep that in mind. We ain't scared of these Draconians. I eat a reptilian. We eat reptilians down here in Louisiana. We go hunt them and eat them. You know what I'm saying? We'll hunt up, we'll eat a reptilian, man. We gotta take that fear that they put on us. We gotta take that back out. We ain't scared of these suckers. Sometimes fear save your life, though. Remember, Alex Collier said that if you see one of these suckers, you better run. Well, ain't no sense of running when they can run faster than a cheetah. How you gonna run from them? Your first thing is to not be scared. That's how you first combat them. You can't have no fear on you because fear smells delicious to them. If you don't smell like no fear, you know what I'm saying? And they some stanky jokers, man. The reptilians, they smell like urine and old dog shit. They smell like urine and old dog shit. Like an ancient dog shit. Like some dog shit that still got its potent smell, like it's fresh, but it's like 10,000 years old. Yeah, that's how they smell, man. They smell ancient. Like ancient ass crack. That's how they smell. The reptilians, man, they scaly and slimy with yellow eyes with a slit, and they smell like ancient ass. Yeah, like 10,000, 100,000. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Stanky jokers. Down there in some of their cabins, which can be considered as hell if you ever get snatched down there. They torture you and eat you. And the smell kill you alone. The smell down there smell like dead bodies in some of their cabins. You got another group who are called the Derus, who are look like the Hindu god Ganesh. Those are actually extraterrestrials. Well, they actually was molded here. They actually wouldn't be considered as extraterrestrials because they actually was formed here by different freak-offs that was taking place in America, which was called the land of Nod at that time. It was a whole bunch of Inky was having freak-offs over here in America, in the land of Nod. And he invited all kind of extraterrestrials over here to have freak-offs. And the remnants of them freak-offs created these Derus. Because you got the Terus, the Knuckles, they was involved with the freak-off. The Hindus, is a lot of Hindus. They was involved with the freak-off. Yeah, alien freak-offs, man. You gotta wonder, what is an alien freak-off like? I got a tape coming out, man, called The Alien Freak-Off. It's gonna be a funny, how humans are treated in alien freak-offs. I got a tape coming out, an AI tape. I'm working on it right now. It's gonna be some creepy stuff, man. The alien with them Derus, they like to sit up there and torture you And then once you die, they let your body rot, and then they eat you. If their rules. Yeah, man. So there's people eating people. The mermaid. So when people you hear about mermaids getting eaten, man, that ain't nothing. Mermaids getting eaten just like them eating the fish. They eat humans. These guys. So just keep that in mind, man. We better get up out of here. We ain't want to hold you long. Hey, man, if you want to show us some love donation, we got the locked in the pin. Man, we about to get up, man. We'll be tomorrow though, because Hard's about to go out go to Atlanta, and they about to have a good time. For the summer, so we're gonna drop one every day probably. We're gonna have a lot of free time on our hands. So yeah, peace and love. Free Malachi Z. York. Free the L. Rookin, y'all. Jeff Ford. Free Larry Hoover, y'all. Let the three chiefs walk. Right? We send divine love throughout the balanced universe to all. Never have it been made so clear.